Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I will try to explain how you can declick your Canon FD lens, both the new one and the older one. This is not the new one. I mean, those are older FD lenses, not the FDN lenses. Well, this one is the older with the Breech ring, both of them, which is actually quite interesting. It took me a while to figure out how you actually can declick the aperture ring, so when you put the camera, the lens on a camera, on a bayonet adapter, so you can put it on your digital camera, and in that way use those nice old lenses to make videos or use it for photography, which they render the pictures very nice. But how do you, mostly for video. One would think, okay, it's better to have a de-click version. You can see there is no clicking here. But how do you actually do that? So when I put it on here, I would see, okay, I can turn the breech ring and then turn the aperture. Doesn't really happen. No, because I have to lock this one here. This is the aperture lock function. In this lens, it's different from the older. This is a newer version. So one does only have to push it all the way up to here and then click. So now the aperture is actually in lock position. Nothing really happened here, but it's only when I put the lens on an adapter, so it can be, see there, it has to have this install mark which sits there, and then you can turn the breech lock. In that way you will be able to actually use the aperture without any click. Now let's dig into it how it's how I have done in those two lenses. So I will begin with this one, and I'll just unscrew the 3 screws, sit here around. I need to have the breech ring unlocked so I can reach the 3 screws around here. So something like that. We'll get into more details about because how does it go with the spring in here? There are some issues because you need to take out both 1 spring and 2 steel balls. So now the mount is actually quite easy to get off. Hold on to the aperture ring so it will not get lost, get free. So we can simply just lift off the mount itself, and it looks like this. Since I already have modified this lens to have an aperture, click-free version, because in this case, we'll just get rid of this because it will be later on. Now, I took out 1 spring. This one here is sitting from, we better get it right here. This end is sitting here and goes all the way over to here, and this end, which has a longer tip, sits into the hole in here. You can probably see there is a tiny hole in here. And it has to sit on this side. So you put this on in that way here, and move it around, and then it sits correct. Now it will tighten this part here, which is underneath here, and in that way it will pull back the aperture connection to the camera. But for now we actually need to have this quite free in a way. So when this is turned, it will say it has a connection to the actual aperture inside here. So when I turn the aperture ring itself, nothing really happened at the moment. But if we look into closer to here, this pin here goes in between here, and the breech lock, which when it is in, on the adapter, it will say something like that. I will just, so now it's into, you can adapt it to the adapter, and we'll just do so like this. You see in here, this pin that is connected to this pin, that again is connected to this fork here, and is also connected to this pin here, which push on this one here. Over engineering, yes, a lot. Now when I turn the breech ring to lock the lens, see what's happened. And it probably has to go further down. It depends. But for now, I can put this on, and since the aperture lever here is in lock position, it will be that. So this pin here will actually move the aperture inside. Now we can set it to 16 or so and put this on. Yes, something like that, and it will be so. It's not so, of course it's not so good at the moment, because I need to see what's happened inside. So it's better to have the breech ring off. So I will just unlock it again. So we better do this. Now it's in lock position, and the breech lock ring is also in lock position. So I can actually put this on here and do like that. Be careful also, we have this lock pin here. So, and it's in lock position. Yeah, there. It's a bit complicated, I can say, because it's not so good. Turn this, and it's in lock position. Now, when I unlock the breech ring, it will say I will put it on an adapter. It will do like this. So now I can turn my aperture ring here, and in that way move this pin over here. This one will stay put because it's locked in here. So now, right now, the lens can be used in with a video camera or other cameras without the click. But let's see what's happened if I pull it off. Oh, there is some tension because of this one here. So when we put it on here, it will say maybe it's a little confusing, but there are springs that goes against each other, and in that way it will make it a little weird. I forgot to mention that we also in this case have to get the two, of course, the two steel balls, and we also get the two steel ball spring which sits underneath here somewhere. But to do that, we have to take this bracket off. It will say with two screws, and we also need to take this lock pin out. Keep that because you will need it again. And then we can, because I cannot take off the aperture ring at the moment, so I need to unscrew this screw. And remember, there are two lengths of screws. This one is the long one, and this one is the short one. I'll just place them in the right position. As you can see, long screw, short screw. And then I can, when you take off the aperture ring itself, keep in mind that holding your hand to here, and when you lift off the aperture ring, something like that, if you're lucky, the steel balls will sitting in here, they will just stay put. So you can just with a tweezer take off the two steel balls that sits there and there. But for now we can just take it off. And we also need to take off those two steel balls. We will not use them at all for anything, or they could interfere with the aperture ring when you use it. So out of that, you can always restore the lens back to its normal. So there shouldn't be any issue. Where the hell did that go? Well, you can always restore it back to where it was at first. So I do not destroy anything or make any adjustment at all. I just take things out. So we can just put it on again, and you can see it's just a ring that turns. Here I made a spring out of, I have a few attempts to figure out, okay, which length and also what diameter the spring should have. This one is a short one with a little hook in each end. In this case, this is 0.28 millimeter piano wire. It could be a guitar string or so, and it's 18.5 centimeter long. And it has to turn, in this case, the newer version, it has to have a 1.5 turn from here all the way over to here and over here. It makes enough tension to go against the actual internal spring in the aperture assembly. If there is no spring in here at all, the aperture ring will just fool around, because those three parts here, it will say this one, and the fork here is connected in a way. So if there is no tension against here, it will not work. So when you turn the breech ring, it push against here, and it also push against this fork here, that again is connected to the aperture ring here, and this one is also connected to it, push against here. So it in all it goes it is connected to each other. So this is how it looks, but I found out 0.28 millimeter piano wire was too thin. There was simply not tension enough in this spring I made at first, which is 18.5 centimeter long, and it won't have the strength or the tension to go all the way around here. So I made another one, but it was actually from a guitar string, which is 0.44 millimeter. It's a guitar string, but it is piano wire, it's called, if you search on it. And it goes much better. It has the correct tension that I want. So, it's in lock position here. You can just unlock it. So, and it has enough of tension here to work against the other spring. So one actually made, you need some tools. It will say a round nose plier. This is a Apex, has a number 35, 32, 115. So the nose here, the round nose, is actually the correct diameter, and of course you need to press it a little. But here, in one end, I make a little longer, just to make it easier to put it on. So one actually do like this, and simply, have it that long. So you simply turn it around, and that way you have a kind of a hook like this, but you need to press it a little, just a little, so it has a smaller diameter hole, and it actually works pretty good. Something like that. And it can go over that pin here, and then you simply go one full turn and a half. And then you simply cut it. I have to use this one, so I will not cut it into pieces. But you see, you have to make another hook here on the other end, which goes against a little hole and is locked on the other side. And in that way, you have simply locked this spring here in place, and it will hold itself. But it has to be in this circumfer here, I think it's called. not the outer here, because there you have the 3 screws holding the mount to the lens assembly. So, but for now we need to put the things together and make it work again. I need to put this bracket on. Need to put it in here. Have the first little screw. Just to put it on here. So you can see I do not at all destroy the lens, but I can always make it to work again without any damage. See, the longer screws has to sit here. Then screw in. So there. So it is. About the breech lock, maybe it can help somebody. If the breech lock is too tight, let's say it's, I mean, when I put it on a mount here, I mean, on an adapter, we just need to have it in lock position. So now I can put it on here, and it will, if it's correct, there, have to install it correct. So, and then we put it on and turn it. There could be an issue with the aperture ring, because if the brake ring is too tight, I mean not too tight, if the aperture ring is too tight, sorry, one needs to actually unscrew this just a turn. Hopefully it will be enough, or it could be too loose. There could be something with the adapter or the camera itself. Hope it helps. Now, for now, I will just put this back in again, and we also need the little lock pin here, which has to sit here. Oh gosh, come on, little fellow. And do that. So that's one thing I just need to mention. Yeah, set it on 16. Then the lens is in correct position. Here, the red dot, the mark here. And then you put it over, this pin goes over here, 16, and then you can add it here. And you just have to turn the mount a little so it goes onto the lock pin here. Then we can assemble it. So, and it will say that's it for this lens. The older version is a little different build, if we can say that way. Part of it's a different build. I will just show you how it's different from the newer one. So there, and that's it. See how it worked beautiful, and no click function. So now we'll dig into the older version, which looks quite similar. It has a, like the newer one, a click function that will lock the aperture. But this one has a lever. This one does not have a lever. So what do we do then? Well, I just press it all the way up to here and it would be in lock position. So now I can actually do what I want. I can lock the lens. And you see this is also de-clicked. So but I will show you how it looks inside. This lens actually have flathead screws, like the other one have crosshead screws. We need a 2mm flathead screwdriver and put this on and unscrew the 3 screws. You maybe recognize there was a few springs for this lens, but the other one there was only one long spring, and there is a reason for that. And I think it was a bit difficult to figure out how it was put together. There are still 2 springs, two small springs and 2 steel balls. So there's nothing wrong there. Now, we look into it and we take off this this mount, and then we see a different view. This is how it looks here. And I really try to make it working as nice as possible. This spring will just go underneath here. So, and it has to sit down here, so it's correct. Now, let's see. This is the same case like the other one, but here there are 2 springs. There's one here that goes from one side all the way over to this lever here, which is a lock. So this one is actually, you can see this spring going from here all the way over to here, and it will be the same like the other one, but different way they make it. There are more springs and things in here than the other one. So like from this one here, which is the same as the other one, there has to be a spring that goes 1.5 turn over to here. And but before, that was actually sitting this one. That goes from here all the way over to this pin here. So those 2 springs that was actually hold this pin and the other pin with 2 springs. So I do the same here, taking out 1 spring, and that should be enough. Or what? No, not really, because it took me some time to figure out there was a second spring, which is a thin, long one that sits under the aperture ring itself. We can just take this off here and see where it goes to and from. See, this spring here is attached to one end here. It will say like close to the 16 here, and it goes all the way over here to this aperture ring, and it will go on the very bottom of the aperture ring where the number is, and it has a little pin here, so the spring would actually sit like that inside here. So it will be sitting like that. It goes all the way over to here, where you probably can see it, to this pin here. So I also need to take that out. It fooled me at first, so we need to also take out the two springs here and steel ball one there and there. And then to do that, it is actually easier when we have the aperture ring on here. So the aperture ring will be pulled all the way over to there. If there was this little spring underneath here. So to actually get it off, we need to take this out, this screw here, and to make it more easy. Then the tension of the spring will pull the aperture ring all the way over to here, so that there is no tension on the spring. And then we can just lift it off. But of course, again, it's the same with the steel balls. They sit underneath here and here. So when the aperture is sitting correct, like this here, you need to have a hand over here and then lift off the aperture ring, just in case the two spring or the steel balls will just flew around, and you probably will find one of them out. Oh, only the steel ball or only the spring. So again, there has to be some work before we actually can declick it. I hope it makes sense to actually do this. And then we can put this screw in to the inner aperture ring, and in that way have the follow in here, so it can move. So this is how I actually figure out, okay, there must be a way to do this. So I can just put this into lock position, and this spring here, which is it's not easy to do this one. So this one has to sit there. It is in lock position. You see, they're not space enough to actually do this trick. So one have to, free it up here. Maybe there is a different way of doing this, but this is just how to explain how things actually working, and probably could be get to work. So the only thing I need to do, put this on here, the fork, have my lock pin here, and do like this, turn the mount, and then it sits where it should. Then I just need to screw the mount on. So there. And then we can mount it on a adapter, which is quite interesting to do that, because you can use good old lenses for making videos that or photos with a different view that you can probably do things in Photoshop, but the way the old lens renders picture is quite amazing sometimes. So now we can hopefully do it correct. Put it on an adapter here. Turn the Breech ring here. And hopefully it will work. Yeah. There was something here. Of course I need to lock it here so I can put the Breech lens on and then turn it. Yeah, there are some different issues with this. They have to be fine-tuned. But the newer version, which is still the old FD lens, is actually working pretty good with this setup. So I hope you can use the info for something, at least to try to declick your old FD lenses. So that's all for me. Hope you enjoy the content and can use it. Thanks for watching. See you sooner.